What's up, everyone? Happy Wednesday. This is another live edition of Clutch Sports Talk with me, Ryan Flowers. Got a great show in store for you guys today. The NBA just opened up last night. The Lakers played the Clippers, the Nets, and the Warriors. I got James Harden to talk about what's going on and the ongoing saga going down there in Houston. We're going to talk about the Steelers and Big Ben and what their future plans are, regardless of the outcome of this season. Also going to dive in a little bit about the NFC East. My friend will join the show, Charles Harris, a.k.a. the Realest Cowboy. He'll be on. Hopefully, he's traveling. Other than that, we're going to talk about Jerry Jones and what happened to the Cowboys this season in regards to there were no Pro Bowls this year. The first time in over 30 years that no Dallas Cowboy was selected for an all-pro bid. So other than that, sit back and enjoy the show. This is Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers. Let's go. Clutch Sports Talk with Ryan Flowers is presented by All Pro Digital Sports, the future in sports media content. Let's go. Welcome in, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve. Hope you guys are done with your Christmas shopping. You know, it's kind of crazy out there. The last couple of days, everyone's making that final push to gather all the gifts and everything for the kids and for loved ones. So hope you guys are enjoying yourself and being safe out there. If you're listening to me right now and you're live in the chat room, please don't hesitate. Drop a comment, leave a share, a like. Make sure you're sharing this right now. If you're watching on Facebook, share this with everyone that you know. We got some good content we're going to be talking about today. It's also as well, drop a comment, like I said, and make sure that you guys are engaged. And other than that, make sure you hit me up on Instagram at clutch.sports.talk, as well as YouTube. Subscribe under Clutch Sports Talk, and make sure you hit that notifications link, let you know anytime I drop anything new or go live, anything of that nature. But other than that, man, we got a great show in store for you guys today. I will have the Charles Harris, a.k.a. the Realest Cowboy. He is the creator of the Realest Cowboy page on Instagram. Tons of great material if you're a Cowboys fan. Even if you're not a Cowboys fan, he brings a lot of heat, and hopefully he'll be able to join me later on in the show today. But other than that, man, hey, I'm excited. I'm juiced up. Christmas is one of my favorite time of year, and I like to celebrate it a lot. It's not even about the gifts. It's just about the lights and the decorations and stuff like that. But other than that, other than Christmas and the NFL opener, NBA. The NBA is back, man. I am so glad that the NBA is back, and they're not in a bubble. Last night, the Golden State Warriors, they traveled to Brooklyn to the Barclays Center to play KD and Kyrie and the Brooklyn Nets. Then in the nightcapper, we had the Lakers and the Clippers, and I'll touch on both of those games here right now. So first and foremost, the Warriors have fallen from grace. I get it. Curry's back, but no Klay Thompson. Draymond Green isn't a superstar. He's nursing a hamstring injury. They just looked all out of sorts altogether, period. I don't even think they're an 8-seeded team. Not after that performance last night. And I'm going to touch on Kevin Durant, too, and his performance. But the Warriors, man, right now, they'll be lucky if they're in the 10th or 9th spot in the West. The West is so loaded. It's crazy. It's crazy how loaded it is. You just look at all the teams, and the Golden State Warriors just don't look like they got what it takes to kind of hit that upper echelon. Now, if Klay Thompson was there, okay, that's a different story. But with Klay Thompson out for the year with an Achilles now, we don't know what his recovery will be like and what he'll be like when he comes back on the court. Steph Curry's going to have to do way too much. And, I think he dropped like 20-something points last night. It's not going to be enough. They have nobody else out there. They have other nice pieces. I do love Kelly Oubre. I thought he's a great pickup for the team that they thought they were going to have with Klay Thompson. But obviously with Klay out, Kelly Oubre is not that type of player. He's not a superstar. He's a very, very nice role player. Physical, can play defense, athletic, but he cannot help Steph Curry, especially when it comes to the offense. It's going to be an uphill climb. Steve Kerr is definitely going to have his work cut out for him. This is going to be the best job, or this is going to test him and his coaching ability straight up, because now he's going to have to coach a legit team with young players. They have a young roster. They drafted James Wiseman with their first pick. He had his moments last night, but he needs to get bigger. He definitely is the modern day big man, like a stretch 5, a stretch 4, but he's going to be able to have to bang with some of these bigger centers like he did last night with DeAndre, what's his name? DeAndre Jordan, and the other guy that they got there in Brooklyn. So the Warriors definitely, man, it's if you're a Warriors fan, because here's the thing about the Warriors, and I don't want to offend anybody from the Bay, because here's the thing. Nobody was talking about the Warriors. They just weren't. They weren't talking about them until they went on that run where they started winning championships. Curry got help. And then all of a sudden, everybody and their mama were Warrior fans. This is now the time. I want to see those same Warrior fans who were just like Warriors everywhere. My baby mama's son, uncle, cousin, brother was a Warriors fan. People who were claiming the Bay Area, who weren't even from the Bay Area, were claiming the Warriors. This is when I want them to stand up and show and represent for their team. This is the time, because right now your team is not that good and they may not even make the playoffs this year. So sorry to say that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment sections below. All right. So the other team, Kevin Durant looked phenomenal. I mean, dropped 22 points coming off the Achilles. That team, I mean, everyone was talking about, they need to go make the trade for Harden. I don't think so. This team is going to be just good enough to compete in the East if KD, and this is KD's first real like legit action. I know he had a preseason game here or there, but he's been off for almost 2 years per se, right? Almost close to that. And not 2 years, a year. And he looked really great, man. His lift was there. His jump shot was money. His quickness. Now, it was the Warriors. They didn't have anyone that can really, per se, challenge him enough. But coming off, that type of injury, a new team, a new time zone, a new teammate, the Brooklyn Nets will make some noise in the East. They got a nice young team. They do. They have really, really talented role players and Spencer Dinwiddie, Joe Harris, Karis LeVert. They really have a nice squad, and they may add someone to the trade deadline, but I don't think they need to tamper with what they have right now. I think they just need to let KD do his thing because it's KD's team. I know Kyrie was there, but it's KD's team because he's arguably, if not the best player in the world, second, at least third best in the world overall, right? Well, I mean, it is what it is, right? So it's his team. Kyrie is going to be a nice supplemental player to go with KD, but KD will take this team to where they need to go. And if they don't reach the finals, it's probably because KD just wasn't good enough. I see them reaching the finals. Honestly, my prediction, obviously, is the Brooklyn Nets versus the LA Lakers, barring no injuries per se, right? But, injuries are a part of the game. But in a perfect world, I think that Kevin Durant is still a good enough player. The only part I don't like with him, he's probably one of the most sensitive athletes that we've had in our time, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, it is what it is. Now, last night he was interviewed by the TNT crew. Charles Barkley asked him a question. I think basically it was just like, how you been putting work, blah, 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 blah. And he was just like, okay. And it was like an awkward dead silence. And obviously somebody on that crew, whether it was Shaq, Kenny, no one really messes with Ernie or Charles, said something. And he's the type of dude that he reads the newspaper printings. He hears all this stuff and it really bothers him. That's my only problem with him that can kind of hinder him from being one of the greats is that he cares a lot. I'm not saying you shouldn't care about what people say because to a certain extent, we all care about what people have to say about us. I mean, it is what it is. Like I do it, you do it, we all do it at some point. Maybe not everything, but he to me is very sensitive in the fact that he'll go out on national TV and kind of be petty. And to me, if you want to be like a leader or a superstar in the National Basketball League, I don't know, man. It just rubs me the wrong way. Now he's a phenomenal basketball player, but for me, it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. So we got our first comment in the building here. William Flowers, shout out to my dad. He says, we're the true Golden State fans. They were just bandwagon fans. The Lakers is the team to beat in the West. They are the defending champs, but the Clippers have something to prove. Yeah, true. And actually, that's a good segue because I'm going to touch base right now on that game. So the Lakers lost that game last night. Two things that stood out to me from a Lakers standpoint. Montrezl Harrell is legit. I think he scored double digits. Mind you, for those of you who don't really watch basketball and don't understand basketball, there are sets, and what I mean by sets, there are plays that are called for most of the superstars or guys that can score the ball. The fact that this guy, Montrezl Harrell, has no plays called for him, none, scored double-digit points is pretty remarkable. And I'm pretty sure the Clippers are going to be missing his production. And I thought it was a great start to his Laker career. That's a really good pickup for the Lakers. The other one, Dennis Schroeder, I don't know if he'll stay in the point guard, the starting point guard position too long because I feel like He's a good guard, but I think they need to let LeBron handle that from the start and maybe have Dennis come off the bench. But I do like Dennis Schroeder's fearlessness, his aggressiveness, his ability to score, and the pick and roll game that he has between Anthony Davis and Montrezl Harrell was evident last night. So that's a good pickup for them. Anthony Davis looked pretty good. LeBron, this is the one thing about LeBron, and you have to understand this. Not every game to him is meaningful. For us as a fan, that was a very, very important game for us as the spectator, as the consumer. Why? It's the Lakers and the Clippers. The Lakers are the defending champs. The Clippers want to be the Lakers, and there's all this turmoil between the two teams, right? Okay, I get it. But for LeBron, he's like, he went down, I believe, late in the third or early in the fourth with like a roll sprained ankle. It was nothing too serious. He kind of came back, but he really wasn't the same. In his mind, he looked up at the scoreboard and was like, we're probably not going to win this one. So why exert myself? And this is how LeBron kind of stays fresh. Now, he's not going to play a lot of minutes this year. He's just not. He's not going to log those minutes because it's a shortened season. Because here's the thing. This will be the first league in sports history to have this shortened of a offseason. I think it was like the Lakers had like 69 or 70 days since the last time they played in the championship up until training camp started. So, I mean, obviously the other teams that had more days, like the Warriors and even the Clippers, had over 100 days because they didn't go deep into the finals. So LeBron is looking at it like, you know what? It's the first game. We still got 71 more to go. Yeah, the Clippers did a great job. Well, I wouldn't say the Clippers overall. Paul George. And let me touch base on him right now while I have the podium here. If it wasn't for Paul George last night, dropping 11 in a row at one point in the third quarter and then finishing off the game with 15 points, they would have not have won that game. They wouldn't. They just wouldn't. The Clippers were up by 20-something points, 25 points, if I'm not mistaken. At one point, Clippers cut it to 1, cut it to 2. They just were not able to get over that hump. Typically, you have a team up by 25, but this is the modern NBA. 25-point leads don't mean nothing anymore in the NBA. Maybe 10 years ago, you could turn on the TV and say, okay, well, hey, my team's up 25. I should be good to go. Not anymore. And the reason why is because the 3-point shot. If teams can shoot at a decent clip, you're in any game. You're in any game at this point. So Paul George looked good. The Clippers, okay, congratulations. You won the first game of the year. There's a long season to go. Paul George can do this. We've seen him do this before. Can he really sustain this and be consistent all year round to help Kawhi Leonard? Because Kawhi Leonard is going to get his. He's going to get it. That's what he does. But Paul George is the actually deciding factor whether or not the Clippers will actually be good or not. And for all you Clipper fans out there who were like, when they lost to Denver, it's like, oh, we need to break this team up. We need to trade this guy. Look, your team is good. You guys were second in the West last year. And basically, you're bringing back the same team with the exception of Montrezl Harrell. Okay, you still have Kawhi Leonard. You still have Paul George. That's still good enough to be at least top 4, top 3 in the NBA. In the NBA, not even in the West Coast, in the NBA. And last night proved that they can beat the Lakers if they need to. It'll be close. I don't think the Lakers will just run away with this whole thing. The NBA is all about matchups. And I feel like the Clippers pose a potential negative matchup to the Lakers. So I'm not going to take anything from the Clippers. I thought it was a good game. They won. It is what it is. But the Lakers are still the class of that league. And, when LeBron decides when he wants to really turn it on, then LeBron will do his thing. And then que sera, sera. All right, moving on. James Harden. And you guys hold on. I still got Charles Harris. He'll be in the room here shortly. I'll bring him on. I know he's patiently waiting. But Charles Harris, a.k.a. the Realest Cowboy, he'll be on later on here in just a moment. But before I get to him, man, listen up. James Harden, man, he is doing his damnedest to get out of Houston. Real talk. He for real, is trying his best. Reports are he was at a strip club at a friend's party. He's throwing balls at his teammates, basketballs. He's doing whatever he can to get out of Houston. Houston doesn't have to trade him. He's under contract. And I'm going to make this short and sweet. All right. Because I do want to move on. James Harden. It's okay, bro. Be a professional. I'm pretty sure if you come in there and act like a man and do what you're supposed to do, the Houston management understands that, hey, man, listen, James. You're a prized asset. We can't just let you walk for anything, dude. But here's what we're willing to do. You come here, you be a professional, you do what you got to do, you play for us while you're here. We'll try our best to work out a good deal that basically pleases everyone, both sides of the party. But you can't come out here going to strip clubs, picking fights with rookie free agent draftees. That's not cool, man. You're not that dude. You haven't done anything in the league. Yeah, you won an MVP, but honestly, it's about championships, about respect. No one respects him for the most part. They respect his game, his offensive game, but they don't respect him as a player, as a legend of the game. He'll probably go down as one of the greatest scorers of all time, but that's it. So James Harden, do everyone a favor, man. Chill out, bro. Just chill out. They went and got John Wall, which it is what it is. They just basically traded Westbrook for John Wall, same player. I get it. But just chill out, dude. It's really not that serious. All right. So that's the NBA talk for me today. Move on to the Steelers. And, everyone stay tuned. I got Charles Harris. He'll be here in just a moment. But I want to talk about the Steelers here. For those of you, I don't know if you guys watched that Monday night game. Ben Roethlisberger looked bad. I mean, he was missing receivers left and granted, his receivers have dropped a lot of balls this year, especially what's his name? Keontae Johnson, I forgot his name. But not only did he miss guys, his balls did not look good. It looked very, like his arm was dead. He missed reads. Here's the thing about Big Ben, and Colin Cowherd made a very valid point on this. I believe it was yesterday. Big Ben is probably not, if not the best, backyard quarterback that we've ever seen in the league. He doesn't prepare. He doesn't really. No, I'm gonna say he doesn't prepare, but he's not a cerebral type of dude. He doesn't we don't praise him for his knowledge of the game. What do we really praise Big Ben for? He being a big dude back there throwing the football, just gutting it out. He's starting to lose that. Now, he had that offseason surgery. I believe it was his neck or his shoulder. I forget which one it was. But he's not a fit dude, man. And you can see that wall hit him quickly. It hit him quickly. And I don't know. The Steelers are – see, here's the thing with the Steelers. They're in a tough spot because they don't have anybody behind him. They're going to have to go out, draft someone, or make a trade. And if there's a trade to be made out there, I would probably try to go get Sam Darnold. I might try to go get him because Big Ben I think this is it for him. And the Steelers are only going to go as far as he'll take them because their running game is non-existent. James Conner has not been a factor since his rookie year. He's always hurt, and they really have nothing. The defense is depleted with injuries, and they got one of the receivers is dancing on people's logos, which I read reports that he's not going to be doing that anymore. Which that's a whole nother issue. But I get it. That's the day and age that we live in now with TikTok and social media and whatnot. But if I'm the Steelers right now, man, you got to start because Mason Rudolph is not your future. Duck Hodges, if he's still there, he's not the future. Big Ben is on his way out. And Steeler fans, unfortunately, I'm sorry to tell you that, but you guys had a decent window, and you only got one Super Bowl out of it, and that was years ago. But now it's time for Big Ben to move on and to greener pastures, and they're going to have to figure out what's going on. So, all right. I know you guys been waiting. At least I've been waiting because I'm always excited when I get this guy on the show. I hope he's ready to go. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. All right. I think he's ready to go. So without further ado, I want to introduce to everyone and get him on the show. His name is...
So your shit when next year type shit?
What's up, man? This is Charles Harris, aka the realest Cowboy. He's in the house today, man. What's going on? You're on the road, right? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, I wish I could have a little bit of better lighting for you and stuff like that, like I usually do with the dynamic lighting and stuff like that. But we're actually on the way back to the Bay Area. Funny enough that you've been talking about the Golden State Warriors and seeing if their fans are really fans, which I was sitting here watching that the whole time, which is funny. But yeah.
You start.
All right. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy, but I wouldn't be remiss. I had to get you on the show. We got to talk about the NFC East, right? So it's literally a 4-way race at this point with 2 games remaining. This weekend kind of might give us a little bit more clarity as to who might come out on top. I think Washington right now is technically first right now in the division. I think we're second. Mm-hmm. Is that the Cowboys are second? Is that correct? And I think
the Cowboys are second, and then the Giants are third, and the Eagles are now fourth.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about the Washington football team. I almost said the Redskins, but the Washington football team. So Dwayne Haskins was caught in a strip club. It's out there. He's apologized. I don't know if he's going to be able to play given the NFL protocol. I believe now they're going to be on their Ben DiNucci quarterback type feel right now with the Washington Redskins. And I forgot who they're playing this weekend. But do you think they have enough on defense to maybe pull out the last this week? Because this is a big week.
This is a big week. Do I think that they have enough on defense? I do think that they played the Carolina Panthers this week. So when you're looking at that team, I don't know, man. The Carolina Panthers been up and down, so it just depends on which Carolina team kind of pulls up. I think what is interesting about the overall NFC East and things like that, it seems like the Washington Redskins have the division in their hand, ready to go. But the thing about it is that their defense has to play lights out because of the fact that you don't have Alex Smith anymore, and Dwayne Haskins hasn't won you a game yet, I don't believe. It's I think he came in to finish off the game in San Francisco when Alex Smith was bleeding and stuff like that. Shout out to Alex Smith for being able to come back from such a terrible injury and stuff like that. But it's funny because a week ago they said that the Cowboys had a 1% chance of getting to the playoffs, which now they're saying it's a 5% chance, but I think it's a little bit higher. And I'll tell you why. For the Cowboys to win the division, right? So we'll go to from Washington. And so Washington is the only team in this situation that has full control over their own destiny, right?
Right.
But the Cowboys have the second, if you will say, the fullest control over some of the other teams in the NFC East, which is really interesting because when it comes to the Giants, we've already beaten the Giants once, so that means that even on tiebreaker ends, if we have our last two games in Philadelphia this coming week, and then
in New York,
and then in New York. So the only way that we win the division is if we win those two games. So essentially what I'm saying is that if the Cowboys can string together 2 wins, which I think is very probable with how Philadelphia has played of late, they played some good ball against Arizona.
Yeah, and the Saints, they got the win against the Saints.
They got a win against the Saints. But again, they got a win against even though it's a good overall team, they got a win against a running back who we call a quarterback. Or what was his Taysom Hill? Okay, so Taysom Hill. So Taysom Hill played and things like that. So you got Drew Brees and all that mix and stuff. But what's funny is when you look at the division, the only way that the Cowboys win this division is if they win those 2 games, because the only way that they win that is due to the fact that the other two, the Washington Redskins, have to lose out their last 2 games. So we need Philly to win 1 game, and that's pretty much it. So if we win out, which that's the only way we're getting in, because we need to win we need to have one more win than the Washington Redskins for us to go through this.
So this is a big weekend, because if the Washington Redskins lose and the Cowboys end up beating the Eagles, then it sets up that last matchup between the Eagles and the Redskins. Because really, we're chasing the Redskins. It's not the Redskins, the Washington football team. Sorry, we're chasing them essentially in a weird way, because we do. I keep saying we, but the Cowboys have the matchup, the head up against the Giants as of right now, and they need to win this Sunday. So, do you think? What are your thoughts on the Eagles here with the last 2 games with Jalen Hurts? You think that he's shown you anything that would kind of lead you to believe that he might be the answer in Philadelphia moving forward?
I watched Hurts in Alabama. That's where he played, right? He played in Bama for a minute.
Alabama and Oklahoma.
Right. And I thought that he's one of those system quarterbacks that you can just plug right in there. They're not going to do anything amazing for you, but they're going to make the right throws. They're not going to make all these, terrible decisions. So I don't love Jalen Hurts. I think that there's a combination of 2 things going on. I think the Saints was a big deal. It was a big win because it was a better team. But again, they were playing a backup quarterback. Now, They went back and forth with the Arizona Cardinals, but that was a really sloppy game on the Arizona Cardinals, and especially
Right.
their defense. They were letting up
Right.
big plays. It's not really characteristic for the Arizona Cardinals. So, I mean, I like what Jalen Hurts is doing. Jalen Hurts is playing better than Carson Wentz. However, I think it's really the same thing that we get with most rookies, where we don't really know what they are until we get to that second year. They haven't really figured out what his tight spots are. They haven't really figured out anything about Jalen Hurts. And this happens a lot, like when Dak came in, or when,
Right.
these new quarterbacks come in their first
There's,
year.
there's no film on them. There's no tape. You don't know
There's
how
no
to prepare
film,
for them.
there's no tape, there's nothing that. So, nobody expected Jalen Hurts to come in here. So it's even less tape. At least, Tony Romo gets hurt. This kid is playing. Now you can go back and look at all the tape and all that good stuff or whatnot. And now you've gotten a body of work over the course of the season. But
Right.
I don't think anybody would have started this and said that we thought that Jalen Hurts was going to take over for Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz hasn't been amazing, but he has not. I have not seen a quarterback regression this hard, honestly, since like Brock Osweiler. The first season that they had, not the first season, but when they had Peyton Manning, they brought in Brock Osweiler, and he played decent, and then they shipped him off to the Texans, and they got rid of him in, I believe, in like a year or two, because the regression was just crazy. I mean, like, if you look at some of the film between, and so that's kind of what's happened with Carson Wentz. So
Yeah.
do I like Jalen Hurts? Yeah. I mean, I think it's better for them, but I don't think that Jalen Hurts, the defense is getting older. I don't think that Jalen Hurts has the right team to be able to take them into the postseason. They're going to have
Right.
to win both of their games as well. And that means
Yep.
that they're going to have to beat Washington and the Cowboys to be able to get into that game. And Washington has to lose out as well for them to win. So, it's funny because, yeah, I mean, it's a hard situation. Like, the NFC East is a nut show, because on one end you have, three teams, that look to be more healthy than the Cowboys, but at the same time, they're lacking one thing, and that's a starting quarterback. And even though Andy Dalton isn't technically a starting quarterback, he's not Dak. Andy Dalton has had way more wins than all of those quarterbacks that have played combined.
Right.
So,
I hear you.
It's a difficult situation. Like, Washington needs to win one game in the last two of these games, but am I thinking that they're going to beat Carolina with possibly not even Dwayne Haskins? I think
Right.
that's a no.
They basically I think they're pulling up a practice squad quarterback rookie from Colorado. I forgot his name, and he was on social media. He liked a comment about someone saying Dwayne Haskins was garbage. so there's all kind of animosity. I think Dwayne Haskins is done. I think everyone will move off of him. So to close up this part here, who wins the NFC East?
Who wins the NFC East? I'm not just saying this because I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm not going to just say this because I'm a Cowboys fan, because earlier I was said there's no way, because I picked the Redskins to win actually earlier this season when Dak actually went down, because I knew Alex Smith was coming in. Now, without Alex Smith coming in and you have Dwayne Haskins, you have a similar situation to what we had at the beginning of the year, where they're losing all these different games. The defense is playing good. However, the offense can't score enough points to be able to win. And when you can't control the time of possession, when you can't move the chains or run the chains, it affects the defense as well.
Right.
So I just think that the defense is not going to play as good, because the offense, they're like the yin and the yang. They need each other for the other one to be great. So even though I think that the Washington defense is good with Ron Rivera, we know who's a defensive-minded coach, which I really like. At the same exact time, that offense is not helping anything. And without Dwayne Haskins, I mean, Dwayne Haskins is garbage, but I would go as far as to say that whoever that they're bringing off the practice squad is probably just as trash or worse. So I just, when I'm looking at
so who wins it? Who wins it?
Who wins
straight up?
I'm gonna straight up say I see the Cowboys coming out and win this. I see that they will be able to beat the Giants, and I'll see that they'll be able to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. I think both of those teams, the fact that we have to win those two games, and they're teams that have struggled a
Right.
lot. And now it's starting to look like, Dalton is starting to get his little groove. I think that with us beating the 49ers and the way that we beat the 49ers, where we scored a lot of points, even if it was a little bit sloppy, I think the 49ers are a better team than the Giants and also the Philadelphia Eagles.
Right.
Yes,
That's a good win. That's a
yeah,
good. That's it's not a bad win. I get it. They're injury plagued too, but it's definitely a good win. And that team is very talented. The Niners are, even though they have a lot of injuries, they still have a lot of talented players in their lineup. So speaking of talent, Cowboys had no Pro Bowlers, and the first time in like 30 years. What are your thoughts on that? 30-something years, the first time they have not had
any Pro Bowlers. I mean,
it's pretty bad.
It's really more so looking and evaluating each and every player position. I don't think we should have had many players on the Pro Bowl, but it's hard for me to say that Amari Cooper and especially CeeDee Lamb, with the breakout performance he's had as a rookie, you would think that popularity would shift over and that at least one of them would get in. Like Amari Cooper is having an elite wide receiver season with 3 different quarterbacks or 4 different quarterbacks. And, I'm throwing him the ball. So it's like, with that being said, I mean, it's crazy to think that Amari Cooper didn't get in. It's crazy to think that, they didn't elect Zach Martin and O-line. But then again, I mean, when people are watching football, the reason why I'm not really, when it comes to the O-line, people look at just one, like, offensive lines as a total unit. So they'll go in and they'll vote for, all of Kansas City's line and all of whoever's line is doing good. They don't really study individual players. And so it kind of makes sense that they didn't opt in for Zach Martin. Now, what really, like I said, what really boggles my mind is how somehow Amari Cooper or CeeDee Lamb, Amari, like I said, getting in, probably going to end the season with about 1,200, yards, having a quiet season with 3 backups.
It's tough with the wide receivers because I'm looking at the list here. Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, DK Metcalf, Justin Jefferson. I mean, all those guys are having a phenomenal season. So I can see maybe I can't see any one of them cracking that list. Amari is having a good year, I guess, in terms of numbers wise, but nothing compared to these other guys, especially Justin Jefferson. He actually really surprised me. I did not think he was going to be as good as he was this past season. He's a receiver. Training camp was short.
The
Vikings.
Jefferson is on the Vikings, right?
He's a rookie out of LSU, and and he went to an offense basically that predicates himself off running the ball. And he still had over 1,000 yards receiving. And I know CD probably would have had just amount, if not the same, if Dak was there, because I think him and Dak were developing a really nice chemistry to go there. But as far as them not having a Pro Bowler in the first time in 30-something years, it sucks. Because, and I know they're not playing the Pro Bowl, which that game doesn't even matter to me anyway. It's just the having that accolade of having. Because I remember one year we had like almost 12 or 14 Pro Bowlers, and it lets you know as an owner, as a GM, that you got the right guys out there. Maybe you haven't been able to put it together. And I still think we do have some talent, but I think we got to get better on the defensive side. And I think that's where I would be more excited if we had more defensive Pro Bowlers than offensive Pro Bowlers moving forward. But Jerry and his son, they've hit on a few guys, and they've whiffed on a bunch of dudes. I mean, we could have had TJ Watt, but instead we drafted Taco Charlton.
Taco Charlton, yeah.
And that hurt, man, because you're looking at TJ Watt. He's one of the best outside linebackers, defensive ends in football right now. And Taco Charlton, I believe, is where? I think he's in Kansas City right now. I think or Miami.
I don't know. I think it's Claiborne that went to Kansas City. Where is Taco? I don't know where Taco is, but
I mean,
that's another one.
We don't even know where he's at. That's the problem. And he was a high draft pick. Like he was our first pick of that year, if I'm not mistaken, and he didn't pan out. So, but Charles, man, I appreciate you, brother, man. Make sure you get on back on the road and drive safe, man. And happy holidays to you and yours, brother.
Thank you so much, man. And I always appreciate you getting me on the show and stuff like that. And
yeah, man. Yeah, it's the first time you've been. Yeah, you were. For those who don't know, Charles was like actually one of my first guests when I was on the audio side. So this is his first appearance on the live side. So I'll probably get you back here in the next couple of weeks after the season. We'll see where we're at with the NFC. But man, drive safe, man, and happy holidays to you, brother.
And next time I'll have some,
Oh no, go ahead. Finish your thought. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, and I would, next time I'll have some better lighting and some better stuff.
Hey, you're traveling. I mean, hey, you see my lighting experience right now. You inspired me a little bit. You inspired me to get my little dark blue lights and the whole. I got the little Drake jewelry. You know what I mean? But you definitely inspired me, brother. But be safe. Happy holidays to you, man, and let everybody know where they can catch you at.
Yeah, they can catch me at realist Cowboy Legend, realist _ Cowboy _ Legend, and Instagram right now. I'm just building up some stuff when it comes to that. Be launching a YouTube channel very soon, and also starting to do some live stuff on Instagram. I mean, not just Instagram, but Facebook as well. I got a realist Cowboy page out on Facebook right now. And a lot of the stuff is just stats and stuff like that. If you guys like stats, if you guys like, special effects edits on football content, then you guys can totally, jump on my line and see where I'm, doing on there. I'd love to have you. I'd love to have discussions, love to, talk with people and really crunch, some of those numbers down. But yeah, realist Cowboy Legend, all underscores for each word. Yeah, holla at me.
All right, man. You guys heard it first. All right, man. Take care.
All right, man. Peace.
All right, man. Peace. All right. Appreciate Charles Harris, aka Realist Cowboy, hopping in, man. He's traveling for the holidays, so I appreciate him taking the time, pulling over on the side of the road, because I hit him up last minute and he was ready to go. So, but I appreciate him, and I hope he gets to wherever he's going here soon and safely. But yeah, so we went over a lot. I'm at my minute now. Other than that, I appreciate everyone that was on. If you guys are watching, if you're watching this later on, the recorded session. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you subscribe to me after you watch this video or before you watch it. Hit that subscribe button, man. Help me out. Trying to get to 100 followers or subscribers here in the next couple months, man. That'll help me out. Other than that, I appreciate everyone that's been supporting me. My next show will be, let's see, today's Wednesday. I usually have I was going to do a prediction show on Friday. But it's Christmas, so I may chill out on that, and maybe I might do it tomorrow. I'm not sure, but definitely you guys will see me back on Sunday with my NFL Primetime Clutch Sports Style. And other than that, Monday and Wednesdays on my podcast or my show, my Clutch Sports Talk days. But other than that, man, hope you guys are safe. If you're going out there in this weather, bundle up, make sure you're safe, wear your mask, wash your hands. Finish up your Christmas shopping, get that done, and get home, be with your family and friends. But other than that, man, that's my time. This is me, your boy Ryan, a.k.a. Clutch Sports Talk. Until next time, everyone, never settle till the work is done. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, guys. Peace. This episode of Clutch Sports Talk with Ryan Flowers was presented by All Pro Digital Sports, the future in sports media content. Let's go.